Hi everyone, welcome. Eric Rodebois, EPGD Attorneys at Law PA, coming at you from sunny Miami, Florida. And today is another true story, and this one's kind of crazy because you know how I always do these videos where I'm like, if it's important, you need to get it in writing. I actually have a saying where I say, if everything goes wrong and you wouldn't be mad, then don't bother wasting your money on a lawyer. But if everything goes wrong and you would be mad, then hiring a lawyer up front to protect you and your business is super important. Little things like, I don't know, attorney's fees, right? Last litigation we did was $150,000. It took 18 months, but guess what? We won and our client got the attorney's fees that they had already paid awarded on the back end. Okay, so check this out. Client does it the right way. They do a contract. They negotiate with another business. Now, here's where they might have got it wrong. They didn't hire a lawyer at all in the beginning. In the beginning, it was friendly negotiations. Everyone's looking to get together and do business together and make lots of money, and you do this and I do that, and we're going to collaborate and we're going to take over the world and make lots and lots of money. Without saying the exact type of business they were in, let's just say that they were in a certain type of food service business and they had a special recipe and they contacted with a manufacturer, and what the manufacturer was going to do was they were going to mass produce this fancy recipe, and then they were going to take the client's logo and branding, which they had already trademarked by themselves. I was actually kind of impressed. It looks like they did a pretty decent job. And you know that we do a lot of trademarks here. And so they had their recipe and they had the logo and the branding, okay? So they start negotiating with this other company, and where we start off in the beginning is they say, listen, before we share with you our recipe, we really want to make sure that we're protected. So we're going to negotiate what's called an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement. Now there's two types of non-disclosure agreements, just so you guys know. There's mutual non-disclosure agreements, or multilateral is another way of saying it, where basically I'm going to share my secrets with you and you're going to share your secrets with me, and we're going to promise to keep our secrets secret. Okay? That's both ways. Or there's a unilateral NDA. I'm going to share my secrets with you and you're going to keep them secret. So in this case, we got a manufacturer. Like, what secrets do they have? They have a factory, they can make a lot of food, and then we have a chef with a recipe who's got an actual secret. So my clients negotiate what they think is a unilateral NDA. They think that, okay? And so what they did, and this is the point of the story, was when they finally got to the finished version and they said, okay, are we ready to sign? They said, yeah, we're ready to sign. They didn't read the last copy. And what the bad guys did is they pulled a switcheroo, where up to the very last minute, my clients thought they were doing an NDA that protected their secret recipe. But when they signed the contract, it was actually protecting the secrets of the manufacturer, which, by the way, doesn't make any sense. But it didn't mention anything about protecting the secrets of my client, the recipe person, the chef. And so they don't think anything of it. They sign it, they put it in their drawer, and they move on. Now, step two was they actually were going to enter into a manufacturing, private labeling, co-packaging agreement, where basically you manufacture my food product and you sell it, and you use my brand and you use my logo, and you're going to pay me 7% of the royalties, right? It's basically like that. It's a joint venture. They're not going into business together. It's going to be totally arm's length. It's going to be a contractual relationship. And what happens is they break down in the contract negotiations. In the contract negotiations of the fancy, full-fledged manufacturing contract, they just couldn't get on the same page. They couldn't see eye to eye. Every time, in fact, what happened was they would have a meeting and they would agree in principle on the bullet points, and they would write it down on a napkin, and then they would hand it to the lawyers for the manufacturing company, and then the draft that would come back wouldn't be anything like what they thought it was going to be. By the way, I've seen this happen a bunch of times where the lawyers kill the deals. I don't know if those lawyers are just trying to milk the fees. I don't know. Maybe, I wasn't there, but maybe the clients are telling their lawyers to screw up. I don't know. But here's what happens. They eventually break down. There's no deal. There's no signed contract. And then my clients find out from a friend of theirs, hey, congratulations, I saw your product and your brand and your logo in New York City. My clients are in Miami. My clients are like, what? How are we in New York City? And sure enough, these people just went ahead, because they already had the recipe, and they went ahead and started production. And they started production, and they started selling, and they sold it in New York City. And to make matters worse, they didn't even offer our clients an update. They didn't even tell them they were selling, and they certainly weren't giving them the 7% royalty. And that's when my clients dusted off the NDA, and they looked at it, and it was the opposite of what they thought they signed. So be really careful, the old switcheroo. This is where you need to be careful with what you sign. The lawyer helps with the negotiations, but the lawyer also helps make sure that you sign what you think you're signing. So for all of you out there that might be doing business, might be wanting to protect your business on the front end, think of me, EPGD Law. Thank you.